So it is bright out here, brighter than I expected. But I don't want to get sunglasses because I don't like doing videos really with sunglasses on. Anyways, it's been a busy, last week was a busy week. And I told you all, I think I mentioned it on the video that you seen on Tuesday, which is actually today. We went on a little adventure to the Ark. And I said that I would do a little health update because last week, which was when we went to the Ark, it was a busy week. Had a dentist appointment on Monday, a follow-up appointment on Tuesday. Wednesday, we went to the Ark. Thursday, we went to visit some family, and then we went and watched my niece play soccer. Friday, we just hung out at the house. And John got quite a bit done on the porches. If you remember, if he was here for that, a couple weeks ago, I said that I really hoped that he planned on doing the roofs, not underpinning, but whatever it's called, on the roof right here. I hoped that he wanted to get that done during vacation week because I was just tired of looking at it. Just got most of that done. We just hung out at the house. We got Violet early last week because I wanted to take her to that soccer game with us to meet family. I'm with my niece that plays. They live like an hour from us, so we don't see them often. But we try to go to at least one of her games every year. And it usually works out to where there's only one close to us. And we could drive out and see her. And we actually need to put more effort into it. Especially if she's still playing her senior year, which she's still got a couple years. But if she's still playing her senior year, we need to put more effort into just being there more for her. Because it really means a lot to her to be that we're there. And I love it. I'm not a sports person, but watching my baby on the field, I love doing that. Anyways, so we got Violet early. We ended up taking her home late Friday night. Not late, but like 8 o'clock Friday night. Because they had plans for the weekend, so they kept her. But Friday we didn't do nothing. He just worked on the house. But it was just a busy, wonderful week. Thankfully, it all worked out to where all that crazy, chaotic week ended up being his vacation week. So I would have liked to have been able to do more on his vacation week as far as like little family trips because we only got to do the one. But we prioritized seeing our family on Thursday, so that kind of took up the day. Friday, I knew that he would need that day to try to get finished up. I mean, he can still work on stuff, but it's just hard to work a full-time job and then try to get stuff done around the house, you know? Anyways, so it was a busy week. I told you all I would update. And I'm a firm believer in the power of prayer. I know that firsthand, how powerful prayers can be. I've seen it work out in my own life. I've seen it work out in people that I love's life. And so I figured I would share to go ahead and get more people praying. Now I would like to say pretty confident that everything is okay, but in the end, you don't really know until you know. With that being said, you know, the Bible tells us that when two or more come together, that God is there. And so the more prayers I can get, the better. And the better outcome that things will be. And even if there is something wrong, I know that God will lead the way in it. So, a little backtrack. I mentioned, I think it was about a month ago, that I was having some health stuff. I didn't really go into detail, I don't think, about what it was. I just felt and feel really bad, really drained. What I don't think I mentioned is I've been having some chest pain, like quite a bit of it, and not like super like stabby or anything. I almost describe it as just like a rock on inside of my chest. Like I don't feel nothing on the outside of my rib cage right here, but just in my chest, it just feels like almost if there's like a rock or a fist, because I don't know, the pain that I can't tolerate, but it's there quite a bit. And so I've been having that. And then also just shortness of breath. Even like, I know that y'all have noticed it in like videos, just like walking or just doing videos, I get kind of breathy. And so I've been having that. One day at Kroger, I don't know when it was, a couple months ago, I guess, or whenever stuff really first started happening. Just walking through Kroger, I had to stop and like, I was standing there and Lily's like, what's going on? And I was like, I just have to catch my breath. I can't breathe. And I just chalked it up. We're going to be real honest. I chalked it up to me being heavy and it being hot. It's heat. It's hot. That's probably what it is. But I did want to go ahead and get it checked out because I didn't want to just kind of blow it off as nothing. Especially when it started messing with my everyday life. Like, y'all know I'm a busybody. I'm always on the go. I can't stand to sit down. And so the fact that I felt almost paralyzed by exhaustion, I knew with that, along with everything else, I needed to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor. And she was concerned, obviously, about the chest pain and the shortness of breath and stuff. And so she ordered an EKG in the office and then ordered a 7-day heart monitor, which I thought when we was in the office, it was supposed to be a 3-day check. She said 3-day. The nurse that came in said 3-day. And so it was a 3-day monitor. And so me being me, I didn't know exactly when that 3 days was supposed to be over. I got it put on a Friday, so that meant it was supposed to come off on a Monday. And on my chart, it showed 7-day test, but I didn't think nothing of that. Just maybe that's how they had to put it in. And so when I called up there Monday, I was like, okay, I'm an overthinker. I just need to know exactly what time I take this off today. And she looked it up and she said, well, your chart is showing 7 days. I said, okay, well, they both told me 3 days. She said, no, I'm seeing 7 days. So ended up wearing it for the full 7 days. Ended up on the evaluation. It shows that it was ordered for 3 days, but they analyzed 7 days of footage, which I don't know the math. I'm thinking that the thing that they was most, let me try to check really quick. I'm thinking that the thing that they was the most worried about, no, it would have picked it up. I was going to say the issue that she picked up and was most worried about, it wouldn't have picked up, but it would have, because it was that morning, Monday morning is when it picked it up. Anyways, I wore it for 7 days, shipped it back. You would have seen it in videos because I'd already posted on Facebook. And my best friend posted, in real life, sister-in-law best friend posted, she's like, well, in text messages, she said, you know, I seen it in your video, but I figured you would just talk about it whenever you was ready. And then a friend, Val, came on there and she said, yeah, I seen it in your video, but I figured you would talk about it when you was ready. So 2 people had mentioned the same thing, that they'd seen it and just figured I would talk about it when I was ready. And it wasn't even that it was a secret and nothing I was ready to not talk about. It was just simply, I thought it was a waste of time and a waste of resources that I even had the thing, because I was like, it's not going to pick anything up. Like my head and heart just felt like it's not going to pick anything up. And didn't want to worry. Like, I hadn't told nobody about it. I hadn't told my sister-in-law, which I tell her everything. Hadn't told my mama. And she was like, why didn't I know already? And I was like, oh, well, I honestly figured it was nothing. Like, I didn't want to have people worrying and wasting prayers on a nothing, you know? Lord knows we got enough to pray about and to worry about without just things that didn't account to anything. So anyways, heart monitor came back and I had a lot of bradycardia. I think that's what it is. I've heard it like pronounced a few different ways, like bradycardia, bradycardia. But essentially it's just a heart rate that's below 60 and it just means it's low. I had, during that 7 day, it picked up like 29.8% that I was below 60. Even getting as low as 37 was my bottom number. And that really concerned the doctor. Now, it's just a GP. That gives me a little bit of hope. That it's just the GP. It's not actually the cardiologist. So I picked up 37 as my low, and it didn't stay down there like super long. I don't know how long it stayed down there, but it was showing quite a bit of times like in the 50s and even 40s, but then it dropped down to that 37. And it was while I was sleeping, so that does make a difference as well. Pretty sure, according to Dr. Google. But she was very concerned about it, which I'm glad. I would rather people be thorough than not care. And so she ordered a echocardiogram. She also obviously referred me to a cardiologist. And she said that she's going to go out and call the cardiologist and see if they wanted to see me before or after the echo. if they wanted her to order it and whatnot. And obviously they wanted her to order the echo, because she came in and said that the echo, they would get that scheduled and then they'd send it over to the cardiologist and we'd go from there. I don't know when my next appointment will be after the echo, which the echo is tomorrow. I guess it just depends on what the echo shows, which I don't know nothing about heart stuff. Like, it's just not anything I've ever really looked into. I know about blockages and heart attacks a little bit, but I don't really know much about it. I don't know about how the heart works necessarily. Like, I get like the gist of it, but my two biggest fears is something being wrong with my brain or my heart. I mean, obviously that's like the powerhouse of your whole body, but knowing that there is a possibility that there's something going on with my heart, that messes with me. And the doctor even had asked me, she said, when you're, anyways, I'm recording on my phone and got disconnected because they was calling with my cardiologist appointment, because that hadn't been scheduled. I think I just had said, I don't know when I'm going back, but got it for the end of October. It is so crazy to me, which I guess it's a good thing, because it means it's not like, life-threatening, but how far out appointments are when it comes to health things. Like, me and my friend Heather was talking about that, and my friend, my sister-in-law was talking about how crazy it is. Like, you have a health issue or health concern and they schedule you months out. And I get that there's a lot of people, but it's just so crazy to me. Like, I also have to go see an endocrinologist, an endo, and I go and see her at the end of November. So anyways, we're just hoping that everything is worked out and good by then. Anyways, I don't even know where I'm at. Let me go back and see where we was at. Anyways, back to where we was at. Yeah, just thinking that there could be something wrong with my heart. And y'all know I'm an overthinker, right? My brain it don't quit. And at the appointment, she asked me, she said, is there some way that if it gets that low again, when it gets that low, can you wake yourself up? Because obviously, I guess she just wanted me to wake up and just move around a little bit. She didn't really say. She just said, when it gets that low, is there some way that you can wake yourself up? And I said, well, I have my Apple Watch, but obviously it's useless because it wasn't showing anything like that. And it is showing that my resting heart rate gets into the 40s, but it didn't show that it hit the 30s, which Apple, I think it just depends on how active you are, according to Google. It depends on how active you are. When you're active, it monitors more closely. And then when you're resting, it doesn't monitor as closely. Like if you're working out, it's continuous. But I guess like overnight, or when you're just sitting and relaxing, it's like, say, 10 minutes. And then if you're up moving around doing stuff, obviously it knows that you're up moving around because it can sense that. And so it checks it more often. But yeah, it's like, it's not doing anything. It's not alerting me of anything. So she said, yeah, I didn't think so. And so I don't understand common sense or logic a lot of times. And so that really got to me the first few days. And so, yeah, I am, I try not to be worried about it. And then a lot of the times I'm just like, it's obviously nothing. There's nothing going on. It's just a fluke. That maybe all those years of running years ago, that just slowed my heart down a lot. But that doesn't explain the chest pain, which that could just be anxiety, I guess, or whatnot. I don't know. But I'm just hoping it's not my heart. Like, if there has to be something wrong, I'm praying that it's something, and even if it is my heart, I'm praying that it is something that's fixable, easy fixable. The thought of having to get any kind of surgery terrifies me. But I'm just hoping that it is nothing, easy fix or, something like that. And from what I've seen, most of it is easy fix. There is a few things that need surgery, pacemaker, stuff like that. But I don't want none of that, if possible. I want it to just be either a case of the nothings, or just something that we can fix with medication, or that is like reversible, curable, something like that. So if you wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate all the prayers for that. Just for everything comes back okay with that, and that I can find peace with it, because it's going to be a long wait if I have to wait, what is it, 2 months, almost exactly 2 months away of just having to just constantly, because it's always on my mind about, you know, what if there is something and they don't catch it in time, or this, that, and the other, with having these heart pains and having the bradycardia, and just looking up stuff, which I know I'm not supposed to Google. My friend Heather told me to stay off Google, but I didn't listen. The girls are drawing and playing at the treehouse. And so I see things about like heart disease and how, like, I don't know what the numbers are like, but the numbers are really large of people that pass or have heart attacks, and a very large amount of those numbers are women, and how like women like downplay their symptoms and whatnot, or things get overlooked because it's women. And so I really shouldn't Google, but yeah, there I am Googling almost everything. But yeah, just be praying that if it is something that is fixable and easy fix. Surgery is one of my biggest fears, but my biggest fear is it being something, you know, it ends up being something bad. And Mama's got a lot to live for. I mean, everybody does, but it really worries me. And I try not to let it, and every time I worry, I try to pray, but I'm human, and so I still worry about stuff. So if you wouldn't mind just praying a little bit, and just remembering me in your prayers. And while we're at it, my sister-in-law's got some stuff going on too, and so we've been like, hers is different than mine, but we've still we've just been soundboarding each other back and forth, and so be praying for her too, praying that hers is nothing, just the same, and it's easy fix. And having a few issues going on with my heart. Maybe we don't. There's something going on, even if it's just bradycardia or whatever. And we're trying to get it all figured out. I will keep y'all updated. Y'all know that I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to my own life, right? But could really just appreciate some prayers. Just, it's the most delicate dog you've ever seen. Like, somebody runs into her, one of the other dogs, just walking, and she cries like that. Anyways, I'll keep y'all updated on what's going on and whatnot. And I'm praying that I can come back and say that it's nothing. But until then, echo is tomorrow. And then we go to the cardiologist in October at the very end. She said I got the very last appointment in October, and said it's like kind of early that morning, and said, you know, if that don't work, we can look into November. And I was like, no, that's fine, because I would like to be able to sleep in November, you know. But anyways, we'll see y'all next time. Thank you for hanging out. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll see you next time. As always, remember to show grace, be content, and live blessed. Bye, friends.